Hello, everyone. Welcome to Mondays at Microsoft, where we break down the next 2 weeks across the Microsoft world for you with a special focus on modern work, AI, and Power Platform. I'm Karuana Gatimu. I'm the director of the Customer Advocacy Group for AI and Collaboration, and I am joined by my good friend.
Hello, everyone. Hi, Karuana. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. I'm Heather Cook, Principal Community Evangelist for that same Customer Advocacy, AI, and Collaboration group. We are starting off an eventful year as usual, and we can promise to keep you up to date because we're keeping up to date alongside of all of you. So make sure you share our page at aka.ms Mondays at Microsoft and download our show reminder for your calendar.
Absolutely. And we always post a recap blog for every show over on our community news desk. And that's where you're going to be able to find all of the links from today's show. That is an invaluable asset, especially with a great show like today ahead of Microsoft Build and coming off of the Microsoft 365 conference. I think you can see my bag still on the floor behind me.
I know, me too.
Finished unpacking yet. But the community news desk is where you'll want to subscribe and get all that directly to your inbox and all of the great information from today's show. Also, we are on Apple Podcast and Spotify. So if you'd like to listen to us wherever you get your podcasts from, you can. Thank you to the team for making this happen. I love me a good podcast. It's so exciting to be out there. And for everyone that's listening now to us there, thank you so much.
Absolutely. And you can follow the Microsoft community page now on Facebook as well. So all kinds of cool stuff out there in the sociality internets, all of those good words.
Interwebs, is that a word now? I
Interwebs,
heard that
yeah.
and I didn't think that was a word,
Yeah.
but I guess it is.
Yeah, something like that. So for today, we've got a bunch of great stories coming up. We're going to take a look at how students in the Imagine Cup are using AI to empower and inspire millions of people to celebrate their own identity.
And how Microsoft Vice Chair and President testified before the U.S. Senate Commerce Committee on winning the AI race.
And also how Microsoft is taking down AI hackers who create harmful images of celebrity and others. So stick around with us for the next 30 minutes and you will not want to miss all the exciting news we have to share.
Before we dive in, we want to thank our sponsor, Shure, who makes sure we sound great. If you're in meetings all day like we are and you're not using Shure, you definitely need to try their microphones built for the home office professional. And they were with us also at the Microsoft 365 conference, as well as so many other amazing people who were there. But I love them. And they also sponsored all of our community reporters. We have exciting content coming from those community reporters, which you're not going to want to miss on our community learning channel. But we'll talk more about that. But I really appreciate them and all they're doing for the community. Sure. And many of the other folks who lean in to support the work that we do here.
Absolutely. And I think you're going to tell us all about Build. So let's get to it.
I am. Now let's take a look at Microsoft's Big Rock. We are coming to you right ahead of the 9 a.m. keynote for Microsoft Build. That keynote will have Satya Nadella and Kevin Scott. They'll be talking about how Microsoft is creating opportunities across all of its platforms in the era of AI. Build isn't just for developers, by the way. I know it historically has been, but change needs makers, and we're all makers of this change when it comes to AI. So I encourage you to tune in. If you're in Seattle, it'll be an exciting moment, but of course, everyone around the world can see it free online. The keynote is going to explore how developers can harness Copilot agents and the latest AI innovations to build the next generation of intelligent applications, right? And so this is the moment to see Microsoft's vision for the future of development unfold. Attendees can plan their event in the Microsoft Build Session catalog. So you can go and go through there and select the things that you want to either attend in person or digitally, or also things you might want to review again on demand after the show. You simply add them to your backpack. And what I love about the backpack is then it downloads this handy document for you with all of the links and links to the resources and what have you. Our own Heather Cook will be there in person. You can meet her and many other people across the community, including Jesse Huang, also from my team, at the community space. And it's designed to facilitate connection and collaboration and knowledge sharing. You're really the source of all of the fantastic knowledge that's happening out there and what people people are really doing with AI. It's going to feature 8 interactive stations, conversation tables, theater sessions, and more. So swing by, say hello to Heather and Jesse and all the other folks there, and make sure you bookmark the closing keynote with Mark Rosinovich and Scott Hanselman. And Mark wrote on LinkedIn about it. I can't wait for Microsoft Build. I'm delivering a brand new Azure innovation session and the closing keynote with Scott Hanselman, and where we'll do a live AI assisted agent coding with a really cool project. And so you don't want to miss these two. They are rock stars in the Microsoft world. They're both fantastic at doing these live demos. They're engaging and fun. And so whether you're there in person or online, make sure you tune in for them. And be sure to check out the event guide from John Galloway and James Montemagno, a developer's guide to build 2025. So much good things good things are happening. And our team got to get in the mix as well because we are launching the AI Agents Hub here at Microsoft Build. And that will help you be guided through the journey of building agents, whether you're doing it in the Agent Builder, inside of a modern work application, you're using Copilot Studio, or you're extending and doing some custom work with Azure OpenAI services and others and all the connectors that we have. That's an end-to-end capability set that we have, and we will have the site that you won't want to miss to make sure that you have all of the information about how to approach that. So we're launching that later this morning. You'll have to go and check it out. It's very, very exciting. So I love Microsoft Build, and I love being the lead-in show for it in this way, saying hi to everyone who's going and everyone who's paying attention to that. Now we're going to turn over to another topic. Microsoft is exposing marble dust espionage campaign. So Microsoft Threat Intelligence, our friends over there, and they are really, truly superheroes, have uncovered a sophisticated espionage campaign by a threat actor known as Marble Dust. They target entities in Europe and in the Middle East, particularly government institutions and organizations that likely represent counter interests to the Turkish government. Marble Dust exploited a 0-day vulnerability in the messaging app Output Messenger, and the group, assisted by Turkey-affiliated targeted Kurdish military personnel in Iraq by delivering malicious files and exfiltrating sensitive data. Right, the attackers used unpatched versions of Output Messenger to gain access, prompting Microsoft to coordinate with the app's developer, Streamax, who since issued a patch for the 2 vulnerabilities. Microsoft hasn't observed an exploitation of the second vulnerability, but urged all of the users to update immediately. This campaign, it truly highlights the growing use of 0-day exploits in regional cyber espionage and underscores the importance of timely patching. Timely patching, folks, really important, as well as threat detection. And we got to hear a lot about that at the Microsoft 365 conference from our friends over at Microsoft Security, Vasu Jakal, and others. And you'll hear us talking more about the security capabilities that we want everyone to have and understand as we navigate this more complex world of various threat vectors.
Yeah, and I'm going to switch up the topics completely to our students. But yeah, Vasu and her team, just so amazing. And our security teams across the board are just doing, the superhero work for sure. So thank you for sharing that. Yeah, I was like, wow, Marble Dust.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And I know maybe this is later, but I want to make sure we did release our Getting Stuff Done campaign. And Sarah Young from the security space gave us a fantastic list of how to get stuff done in that space, and more is going to be coming. So again, just so much more coming from those folks for everyone here.
Yeah, hashtag GSD coming at you. Yeah, very cool. I love that. Yeah. Well, we wanted to spotlight another story about students from the Imagine Cup. Imagine Cup finalists are using AI to empower millions of people. So Imagine Cup, if you don't know, is a competition for students. And the finalists, it's been going on for a while now, for a few months. And so these finalists are just proving that innovation and empathy go hand in hand. So 3 student teams, Signverse, Hairmatch, and Argus, they're using AI to solve real-world challenges and improve lives across the globe. So Signverse, They developed an app that translates spoken or written words into Kenyan Sign Language using 3D avatars and Microsoft Azure AI Speech. They were inspired by a robotics boot camp where deaf students lacked interpreters. And so the team wanted to create a virtual sign language interpreter that users can carry in their pocket, which is a huge, powerful tool for inclusion and accessibility. Super cool. Hair Match is helping young people embrace their natural hair by using AI to recommend personalized hair care routines and styles. So the app aims to boost self-confidence and celebrate identity, especially among communities often underrepresented in beauty tech. So then Argus, they are tackling vision loss with a wearable device that uses AI to help people navigate their surroundings more safely and independently. They were motivated by a team member's grandmother who lost her sight. So Argus is just a testament to how personal stories can truly drive global impact. Amazing. So congratulations to all of you who are in the finals and everybody who participated as well. These are amazing stories to learn about, and everybody is just creating so many cool things. So, these students for these finalists, they're not just imagining what is possible with AI. They're building it, right? So the winning team will be announced at Microsoft Build here this week, and they're going to receive $100,000 and a mentoring session with Satya Nadella. Runners up are going to receive $25,000, and then all participants gain access to Microsoft Startups Founders Hub to help scale their ideas. So just, this year's Imagine Cup, and I love it that we do this every year, and we've done it for many, many, many years, over a decade. It's just a reminder that, the future of AI is not just about technology, but it's about people and purpose and possibility. So pretty cool stuff there. Yeah.
People, purpose, and possibility. Oh, Heather, that was just wonderful writing there on someone's part.
Alliteration is fun. The three
Yes.
P's, okay? Yeah.
Yes, you
Short.
brought that out, definitely. Well, it just goes that if that's not a moment that matters, I don't know what is. That's a really wonderful story, and I just appreciate them. And I've had the privilege of getting to watch them give that award away a few times there at Build, and the energy that they bring, to the show floor and to these innovative, projects that they're working on is so wonderful. I really appreciate it. It's inspiring.
For sure. Yeah. And I think you're going to take us into, in case you missed it, what's going on, Karuana? Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, in case you missed it, last week was the Microsoft 365 Community Conference in Las Vegas. 3,500 of our friends came together to get an opportunity to learn everything about AI and collaboration and being an IT pro and development and so much more. Heather and I were both in Las Vegas last week for this, as was the entire customer advocacy group. And we have tons of content coming out from that event. So if you weren't able to join us, definitely you will want to take a look at the playlist that we have on YouTube. We're going to be publishing content there, both the keynotes, the exclusive interviews we had with folks from our community news desk that was live there on site. And you don't want to miss the exclusive interview that I did with Jeff Teeper after his keynote on day one there. It was fantastic. And he really discussed the role of AI as a true collaborator and amplifier of human creativity. And we really focused on that amplification component of AI. And also how Microsoft is balancing innovation with empathy in product design. So you can find all of that on the Community Learning channel on YouTube. And we'll continue to release more of these keynotes from Vasu and Jared and Brenna, who talked about SMB. And then we have featured sessions coming out and more interviews. Oh, goodness. So you're going to want to stay on that. Definitely the playlist that we have there. And of course, we'll always break it down for you on our news desk, on the tech community, and on the community on LinkedIn. So very exciting. I do want to say a thank you to everyone who came and made that show amazing. It takes a lot of work to bring together an in-person event like that, as all the people who are managing Build this week know. But it's a human effort, and there's so many people who have done such great work there. So thank you for making that special, certainly for me, but more importantly for all of the attendees who came. Big shout out to that entire team. Now I'm going to turn to another topic. I'm going to talk about Brad Smith, our president, and he testified on winning the AI race. And so he testified before the U.S. Senate Commerce Committee and outlining a national strategy for the United States to lead in the global AI race. Brad Smith emphasized that AI is both a sprint and a marathon, which we definitely feel here inside Microsoft, and it requires innovation, infrastructure, and inclusive adoption. He identified three strategic priorities: winning the innovation race by investing in data centers, modernizing the electric grid, and supporting research institutions. Number two, winning the diffusion race by promoting AI adoption across all sectors and launching large scale workforce skilling initiatives, which is one of my personal passions. And number three, building global partnerships to ensure responsible AI development and deployment. He called for public private collaboration to support every layer of the AI tech stack and urged Congress to act decisively to secure America's leadership in this transformative technology. Very important. And so are all the elements of that strategy as we think about how AI is changing the workforce. It is definitely about workforce transformation and skilling. But of course, we need to build on the research and the data centers and that modern electrical grid. So I always am impressed when I go and read anything that Brad has written, actually. And so I encourage you to follow along with him and his blog posts as he continues to lean into this core activity and help the leadership in our government really understand what's necessary for us to win going forward.
Yeah, and building on the work that Brad's doing, and all of the testifying he's doing, and all the team, that entire team who takes on all of that public policy. Microsoft also, we talk a lot about obviously trust and responsible AI, and what we're doing. We start with trust, right, at Microsoft. And so one of the things that came up recently was that Microsoft has launched our first legal case targeting a global network of AI hackers accused of generating harmful, sexual, explicit, and hateful image using stolen credentials. So the group, who is dubbed Storm 2139, they allegedly bypassed safeguards in Azure OpenAI service and other platforms to create abusive content targeting celebrities, women, and people of color. So Microsoft's AI incident detection and response team, led by Philip Missner, uncovered the operation after detecting stolen API keys that were being used to generate offensive images. So our digital crimes unit, the DCU, which had some support from our legal and cybersecurity teams, filed a civil complaint in the U.S. federal court naming 6 individuals from Iran, England, Hong Kong, and Vietnam as defendants. So, this case is sending a clear message that Microsoft, we do not tolerate the abuse of our AI technology, which was a quote from Richard Bosovich, who is the Assistant General Counsel for Microsoft's DCU. The company has already seized websites, blocked malicious activity, and just reinforcing that commitment to digital safety and responsible AI use. Our broader efforts include working with lawmakers, advocacy groups to protect people from non-consensual explicit imagery, especially as AI accelerates the scale of such abuse, unfortunately. And so, Brad and that team and all the folks at the DCU, are working on different, cases, policy, and all of those things to keep our AI usage responsible and protected. So thank you all for that, on that side of the house, for sure. And with that, we're going to get into some product segments here, talking about what's going on in Microsoft 365 Azure Dev and Security with Karuana. So
Absolutely. Thank you for that, Heather. So let's talk about Microsoft 365 Azure Dev and Security. As Heather just said, the first thing we want to remind you, of course, is always keep an eye on that roadmap. The roadmap is very important. And we have posted recently some retirement notices. We want to make sure that everybody is aware of the feature retirement notifications that have gone out. It's part of the evolution of Microsoft 365 that we've announced the retirement of the SharePoint 2013 workflow, SharePoint add-ins, Azure ACS, and domain isolated SharePoint framework web parts. And all are targeted for an end date of April 2026. And then new this week is the retirement of the SharePoint alerts feature, which was announced just on Monday, the 12th. And that has a July 2026 end date on it. There are other ways to do those alerts, and you can find that in the various articles on this. But we always post that also on the roadmap. And many of the community influencers and MVPs are also posting about that, but want to make sure that you are aware so that you can modernize your solutions along with us. Now let's turn back to some of the work that's coming out on, my favorite site, adoption.microsoft.com. This is the site where you're able to get additional insight and tools and templates to really get the most out of the Microsoft services that you have all across modern work and more. And we are very happy to announce the launch of this Microsoft Adoption Agent Hub. And, sometimes at Microsoft, it can be complicated because the scenarios that you might want to build actually happen across multiple products and multiple divisions' capabilities. Well, what we did for this, just like we did for Copilot, was bring all of those things together in one place. So whether you are learning about the agent builder inside of Teams or Modern Work, you're using Copilot Studio to build agents, or you're extending an agent all the way using Azure AI, Open AI services, you can find all the information you need in one place. Now, of course, there's lots of other content happening on Learn, happening in our documentation, happening on developer.microsoft.com. But maybe you want to get started building agents because you are a maker and you want to land change. And so, but you're not usually in the developer world. That content can be kind of intimidating. So we wanted to make sure that the ability to build agents was ubiquitous and available for everyone. And hence we created this area. We have Copilot agent deployment and adoption materials. You can learn more about the governance of agents and the Copilot control system, and make sure that you understand the way that these things are structured. And if you're still not clear on what an agent is, you can learn about that as well. But agents are something you'll hear us talking about very much over the coming areas because they're the action-oriented tool that will allow you to have your creativity amplified the way Jeff Tieper was referring to. There is also an agent success kit. It is a comprehensive resource that includes IT setup guidance, admin controls, licensing information, and onboarding templates to help prepare your tenant and empower people in your tenant to create and manage agents. There continues to be our interactive scenario library, which we're updating with agent scenarios and day in the life guides, and of course, skilling and enablement resources for your agent building journey. I want you to go and explore this. This is going to be really important. Remember, we were talking about workforce transformation and skilling. This is a big part of it. And so whether you've ever thought about building a solution in Microsoft services, now's the time to get started with all of our tools. So very, very exciting. And it really represents, I know Heather's going to come back and talk with us about business applications, Dynamics, and Microsoft Dynamics 365 and Microsoft Fabric. But you can see these things coming closer together, right? All of our historical modern work tools with Copilot Studio and Azure in these end-to-end scenarios. So I'm very excited about that, about some of those barriers being, kind of burned down a little bit in this era of AI.
Yeah, the blend of everything is just amazing. And we're seeing more and more of that at our events and the technical skilling events that, our the folks in the community are putting on. It's becoming one big mix of, all of everything in the soup together, as it will, absolutely. So yeah, no, that's super cool. And the adoption.microsoft.com is just such a great site. There's so much there for everybody, and really, if you haven't given it a look, please do check it out. There's just great work up there, and don't start things from scratch. Truly,
Right.
That's the big thing. When I was a consultant, this is the site I went to start a lot of things where I was giving workshops or, working with customers. I always went to that site first because I knew it was going to be really well written. It's obviously how Microsoft does it. And then you can, change it and add your own flair, or zhuzh it, as we like to say. So, yeah. Lots of stuff going on in the business applications and Microsoft Fabric space as usual. Just a shout out to Charles Lamanna. Hello, Charles. Hope you're well. He's going to be, at Build and all of the other wonderful places as well. But one of the things I love, he has a LinkedIn series monthly that's called A Few AI Things That Inspired Me This Month. And so he's put an article together with a bunch of different items in it. So you should definitely, if you aren't following Charles Lamanna, he's the leader for Power Platform. Definitely be following him on LinkedIn for his articles. But this is a really cool monthly series that he puts out, and I really liked. I read through Pete Kumin's article that was called "AI Horseless Carriages," and it was an interesting read about building AI software, and that he likes building it more than he enjoys using it. And I thought that was a really interesting take. And, he's talking about imagination. He was talking about how AI feels like a power tool. But then there's also, some of these apps that are horseless carriages of the AI era, because they're built with, old ways of thinking and old ways of building software that kind of constrain the AI models that we have. I think it's a really interesting article. It talks about AI slop as well, which I, was like, oh, interesting term. But, it's where instead of thinking about it something new or creating something in a new way, you're kind of putting AI on top of something that exists. And is that the right way to do it? There's a gazillion ways to do these things, but it's an interesting take. And there's some great articles in there that Charles picked out about AI and what's going on in the world. It's great to look at obviously what we write at Microsoft, but it's also great to have a view of, all the other people that are in the marketplace right now who are doing great writing and having some really interesting thoughts about things. So good stuff. Fabric has a great feature summary that comes out every month. And so they bring all of the advancements being made in the world of Fabric. So if you don't follow the Fabric blog, that's where that shows up. And so a ton of low-code AI tools are now in preview, helping boost productivity right inside notebooks. There's a session scope distributed temp tables are now available generally in the Fabric data warehouse, a new migration assistant, also in preview. All of these things here to streamline your move over into Fabric. A couple of major updates. As of this month, there is an SKU requirement for Copilot and AI features. It drops to F2, making Fabric AI more accessible than ever. So that means full access to Copilot and Fabric, data agents, and AI functions now available to more users, helping your teams boost your productivity, uncover insights faster, and enrich data seamlessly. Even the smallest SKUs now support AI features with some limits on request volumes, but the full functionality is there, and that's just a major step towards democratizing AI in your everyday workflows. And you can find out tons more about that. I'm going to move into community events to close out our session here about what's coming up and how you can get involved. As you know, we've got, our Microsoft community on LinkedIn. And if you aren't following there already, that's where we're posting tons of information about events and community and all of that. Also, our Microsoft Global Community Initiative is our central hub for everything community at Microsoft, for our event producers, budding event producers, and the people who've been doing it a long time who help teach MGCI. But our past community events that have just happened back here in May, we've had events in Sweden and Poland. We also, the community conference, the M365 community conference in Las Vegas. Dynamics Con is happening this week right now in Chicago. That is a great event put on by Doug and Molly and all the folks over there. So shout out to them. We also had tons of past free events that have happened in May. There's just so much going on all the time. We've got community-led events that just happened all over the place. And then we also have a bunch of new things coming up in the paid and upcoming community events that are free. Yep. Thank you, Erin. So, in the UK, we've got a bunch of virtual events. Arlington, so they're doing a build watch party today out of Arlington, Virginia, which is super cool. They're doing that virtually. There only is so many spots open, but I love it that the folks out there have put this together. We've got the Agents Power Summit. We've also got a couple of community days, Agua Calientes, which I believe is a brand new one. So that's super cool. Madrid, Expert Live, Netherlands, Boston, and then another Collab Days Madrid. Lots of stuff going on in Spain this month. So just tons and tons of upcoming events. And then we've got a few more paid events coming up as well. So everything that you're going to look for on communitydays.org, that is the one-stop shop for all of our community days events, for all of the paid events out there in the world, and also all of our community calls that are put on by Microsoft. There's lists for those, as well as a speaker board. If you speak at community days events and these third-party events, and they're connected into Sessionize, we pull those in, and there's a speaker board up there so you can kind of see how many sessions sessions and events that people have been going to. And if you're looking for speakers, it's a great place to check out as well. So yeah, all kinds of good stuff going on as per usual. May is a super busy month, also going into June, so what do we have? We have the European Collab Cloud and Biz Apps Summit coming up in Germany. A shout out to everybody there with Addis and the Mustafa and the team that put that on. Super awesome. Right after Build, Dynamics Minds, which is in Slovenia. That's coming up as well. And then we've got the TechCon Seattle. So
many things.
So many things.
So
Shout
many
out to Dave
things.
and them. Yeah,
Yeah,
tons of stuff.
so many things.
Busy.
You can always find all of that on communitydays.org. That is the whole purpose of communitydays.org. So happy that we have that information that's there. And here's the real point. Come be at one of these events, right? There is something so special about being in person with other people. We're just thrilled to see the resurgence of these events. And, of course, a shout out to the producers who kept their events alive during very difficult circumstances. And having all these community events come back is wonderful. And we love being with you too. So we're happy to see you here. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Mondays at Microsoft. We will be back on June 2nd. And you won't want to miss it because we have so many more things to announce. Now go watch Microsoft Build and enjoy yourself and share with us out in the community how you felt about the keynotes and the other sessions. We'll be out there watching for you soon.
Absolutely. See you soon in the community. Cheers, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.